I'm going to run you through all the groceries that I'm buying for my next budget meal plan, which is a video that's going to be coming right after this one. So this is just the groceries. I'm going to run through all the groceries by meal and tell you exactly how much each item costs me of the amount that I'm going to be using. So I am not calculating costs of the entire item. So say like a spices can be expensive. I'm only calculating for the cost that I actually use because I'm gonna have all of that leftover spice that I can use for a bunch of other meals. So only calculating for the cost that I actually use in the meal plan. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and let's jump into the groceries. For breakfast, I will be making my pancake recipe, which I've made a million billion times on my channel. However, this is gonna be slightly different to make it just, a little bit more budget friendly. We will be using garbanzo bean flour. I actually have just enough for this 4-day meal plan. Garbanzo bean flour is high in protein and it is gluten-free. So you can also substitute this with a different type of flour if you want. If you can't find garbanzo bean flour, I know that can be hard to find in stores depending on where you live. And I will be grinding up oats into a flour. This is gonna be the bulk of our flour mixture. Oats are also high in protein. You can also use quick oats if that's cheaper or that's all that's available in the store. And we'll also be using salt and also baking soda. And baking soda and salt are so cheap, and the amounts that we're using are super minimal that they cost less than a cent. So I am not including this in the cost of the budget meal plan. Most people have these items in their home already. I bought some Country Crock plant butter, which we'll be using to fry our pancakes and top our pancakes with. And we'll also be using this in the dinner recipe. So I just wanted to buy one oil source so that way I didn't have to buy multiple and spend too much money. This was the cheapest plant-based milk in the store. They had a couple different flavors, but I specifically got the vanilla flavored one because normally in this recipe I add vanilla extract, but vanilla extract is super expensive. I also got this one because it has a very, very high amount of sugar in it. So they've added 15 grams of sugar per serving. Normally in my pancake recipe, I add a teaspoon of agave or maple syrup per batch of pancakes that I use. But again, I wanted to minimize the cost as much as possible so that I didn't have to buy any type of sugar. So, 3 for 1, vanilla extract, milk, and sugar. And lastly, lemons. So this is not 100% essential, but lemons added to milk, curdles it and makes it kind of like buttermilk. So these are gonna be more buttermilky pancakes. And also lemons contain some vitamin C. So that's why I like using that. However, if you wanted to cut the costs, you could either totally eliminate that, or you can get some white vinegar, apple cider vinegar. You're barely gonna be needing any of this. So if you get like a little tub of vinegar, you're going to barely tap into it. It's gonna be very inexpensive. For lunch part 1, we will be making a wrap, or a few wraps actually. So we're gonna be using some tortillas. So we'll probably be using 3 a day. This one comes with 20, so we won't even be using all of them. You'll have leftover. As a gluten-free option, you can also get some corn tortillas. And I got the cheapest hummus available in the store. They had a few different flavors, but I'm a fan of the basic Mediterranean style. And this is primarily for flavor. For more flavor, I got mustard. I really wanted Dijon, but Dijon was like an extra $1 more per bottle, and I'm fine with yellow mustard. I know some people aren't a fan of mustard or you're allergic. You can nix this completely or find another, type of sauce that you want to put on the wrap. Sunflower seeds add a super, super nice crunch and flavor to these wraps. They're also very, very high in different vitamins and minerals, and especially in vitamin E. So I really wanted to include sunflower seeds in this. Sunflower seeds are generally really cheap compared to other seeds or nuts. I actually tried to find non-organic because I was trying to find a cheaper set of sunflower seeds. However, this was all that was available. I got a bundle of carrots. I might not even use all of them. I probably will only be having like 2, maybe 3. So if you can find individual ones, you can do that. Carrots, obviously, very good for you. and provide a really nice crunch. Now, I meant to buy kale. I thought this was flat purple kale. It's actually charred, which is totally fine. I did test out a wrap with this and it tasted great still. However, kale has really, really high vitamin C, so I would highly, highly recommend getting kale, ideally purple because it's our only purple ingredient, but just use what you can, find what you can. Also, again, I got these organic. They did not have non-organic in the store. Non-organic probably would have been a little bit cheaper. And lastly, cilantro. I'm a major fan of cilantro. I know not everybody likes cilantro, but this is going in the wrap and also in the dinner. So for both recipes, completely optional. I just think it provides a great flavor. And of course, there's different nutrients in this as well. So I like to pack it out with different flavors and different vitamins and minerals. As part of my lunch, I'm going to be making a really basic smoothie. I got this canned pineapple because fresh pineapple was gonna be, you know, a couple dollars more expensive. So I went with canned, and that's the end of that story. Some fresh raw ginger. So this would be totally optional. I'm a huge fan of ginger, but the primary reason I got it was because of the dinner that I'm gonna be making. And there's plenty to go around. So I'm going to add it to my smoothie just to make it, you know, a little more intricate, I guess. So there'll be plenty left over for future recipes. I'll also be adding ice and water to this smoothie, but those are things that can come out of your sink or your fridge. So besides those, the bananas are the last ingredient that I'll be using. I got a bundle of 7. However, you know, my goal was to use about 2 bananas a day, but this was the largest bundle available, and they're pretty large bananas, so they definitely have room to go around. And for dinner, we are going to be making a coconut curry. So I have 0 experience with making Indian food. I love Indian food, and I'm really excited to make this recipe. This is not my recipe. I got this from a girl I found on Instagram who is called Real and Vibrant. I will link her profile below. The only real change I'm going to be making to her recipe is swapping out oil for this butter. So this butter is made of oil anyway. So again, like I said, it was just to eliminate the need of having to buy multiple different types of oils. And there's a few spices that she has. So ground turmeric. Now, spices can initially be really, really expensive to buy. However, once you have them, you have them. And usually you only use a very small portion of them. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm only calculating for costs that I actually use, and you will have leftovers in this meal plan. So we're only using a small portion of these spices. So turmeric, ground cumin, and paprika, and minced garlic, which is about the same price as getting a little pack of 3 garlic bulbs, but I personally just do not feel like chopping up garlic. So you'll definitely have plenty left over of this as well. A lime, jalapeno, cilantro from the same bundle as our wraps, ginger, which I'm also using in the smoothie, yellow onion, a can of diced tomatoes. It has garlic and olive oil added in it. I tried to find a plain one, but I could not. So hopefully that doesn't ruin anything. Coconut milk. Now the recipe actually calls for full fat coconut milk. However, this was the only coconut milk available left in the store. So I'm really hoping that this doesn't ruin the recipe. I'm sure it'll be okay. I'm really hoping, fingers crossed. 2 cans of garbanzo beans, salt and pepper. Again, things I'm not calculating as part of the cost because they are really cheap and we're using really, really minimal amounts that don't even cost a cent. And then I'm putting all of the coconut curry over rice. I'm definitely gonna have plenty of leftover rice. Rice is an extremely cheap ingredient. I thought about either making naan or buying naan. However, it was just going to be too expensive. So rice is the absolute cheapest option, or you could go with a different type of grain like quinoa, you know, whatever you want to do. But I like rice. It's super filling, so rice is perfect. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video, which is the budget vegan meal plan. So I will give you all the recipes there.